where it's going. Ruby, a bit of a flex now. We get to see the Roger, so now it's going to be even more confusing. If E7 go for Minotaur...
We're in the Twilight Zone.
Oh, man. It'll be very scary for E7 if they go for the Minotaur. I mean, it's good for their combo. I get it, but also... You can see the previous round right above there. I just had to, look at it again.
Just confirm it was the previous
round. Confirm it was exactly the same. I guess we'll see here if it's going to be a change. Maybe they go for a mid laner. Maybe they even go for a...
Oh.
Okay, there you go. They pick up the Eve there. But Eve wasn't bad. So... Technically, they could have gone Minotaur here, and they could have gone for the Eve, right?
Yeah, they could have. She wasn't banned in the previous game. But you know what? Hey, Miracle, this follows what we were saying they should do.
Yeah.
Mage, first phase,
I agree. Yeah.
Lock it in. All right? Entity7 has locked it in. Chan's got it, and this is a pick that, he does play. He does like this pick. It does provide that death box potential when you're going into the objectives. The only thing I hope for is that they're able to actually get to that point where they're able to contest against the objectives because of the mere fact that that's a Roger on Homebois. And if anything is to be said, Roger will snowball the heck out of this game number 2. And looking at this too, a little game fact here before this decider match. Nets 27 had a 27 KDA.
Wow.
It's the highest among all the wildcard players. The second highest is Sapat with a 9.33.
2 Homebois players.
2 Homebois at the top of that KDA standing here. Wow, 27 KDA for Nets. And that's what I was saying, at the end of game 1, I was like, man, even if they had an answer for Chibi, you got to have an answer for Nets. Because Nets really is especially when he gets a Claude. So that's why I'm saying, I actually like the fact that Entity7 decided to go that route, ban out the Claude. It forces Nets on something else. So I'm also wondering what Nets will pick because he is one of the players that likes to play the Hereth in the gold lane, but that's banned out. So we might see him bring up maybe something new for the gold lane, unless this is a flex. Unless the Roger is flexed for Nets in that gold lane. But as we get through this second phase of bans, the Terizla is banned out, the Minotaur, like we mentioned earlier. And, for I think both the teams, this first phase is good. It's locked in. I mean, it's nearly identical, but the Eve I like better than what we saw last time. I think a lot of people still need to see the value of Eve in the current meta.
That's true.
Because I feel like she could be quite devastating with some of the new items too.
Great poke.
The poke is actually pretty good. The glowing wand could actually provide a lot of value to this lineup going against Homebois, if that happens to be one of the first few items that is picked up here by Chan, because there's a Ruby over there's a Roger, and you kind of need to deal with it. The only thing I don't like about Eve, she's stationary.
Yeah.
You are vulnerable in that sense once you set up.
And that's exactly why they banned the Ling, right? Because the Ling would be able to take advantage of how stationary you are, of how you're technically immobile in these skirmishes. You can't be, as flexible as a Valentina, as flexible even as a Lo Yi with the diversions. You can't find those angles, and you don't really have a way to self-peel. Because usually with the heroes like this, you have a way to CC your opponent, right? Even the Farsa, you get the immobilization with the passive. Yeah. But now with the Grok and the Terizla banned out, they're really trying to stop E7 from bringing up these heroes that can actually lock these members down from Homebois. Because I think for Homebois, they want to play similarly to how they played or executed their game plan for game number 1. They want to attack from different angles. They want to utilize their mobility and to make E7 utilize their resources, and then Homebois comes in again. It's like a layering type of gameplay for Homebois, baiting out resources and then coming back again later.
Yeah, we'll see if they do that. Also, as we wait for this next pick, I almost would like to see an Arlott picked up here. I think that could work out really well, kind of swooping them into either the deadliest catch or into the real world manipulation. Yeah, it could work out, but Carmilla is going to be the answer for now. So that's the answer for E7. This means the Carmilla, is this going? Where's this going? Is this Rome? Rome Carmilla?
It
has to be Rome Carmilla, right?
Technically, yeah, it should be Rome because
Bane going to the jungle, Edith.
Yeah,
going
Edith
XP.
XP.
Yep. All right.
It is still very one-dimensional, though, right? I mean, if we take a look at game number 1, the main reason, E7 weren't really able to look for anything else except for team fights was this composition, and that's why Homebois were able to get an overwhelming lead at the start of the game. They utilized their pickoffs, they utilized their mobility, and now we get to see Nets on the carry, so it'll be confirmed the Roger will be going into the jungle. That's the higher win rate of the 2 jungle slash goal lane Rogers that we've seen. And now the last pick for Zorn. Or perhaps for Suppot, it's going to be the Mathilda. So, Mathilda for Zorn.
Yeah, this is a great last pick here. And it's funny because Mathilda, in a way, is kind of slept on now, which, you know, she was in this kind of mode where she was banned out constantly previously in the year, but a lot of teams don't want to pick her up as much, but she still provides a lot of value. And this, really, the value that comes from Mathilda with this lineup from Homebois is the guiding wind. Mostly, I'd say the guiding wind allowing the carry to maneuver around a little bit better because there's a lot of lockdown that could happen from E7 in the form of that deadliest catch. You know, even the Curse of Blood will be able to set things up for Entity7 despite what they have here for Homebois. I think you need that mobility because you already have it. Roger has enough mobility himself. You know, and you can play around that. Yeah. You have Eternal Guard to disengage for yourself, so this is really for that carry pick. And here's the Clint that comes through for E7. Interesting. This is, you just look at this lineup.
Mobility versus stand your ground.
Just stand your ground. Post up, fight it out, and hope, too, that, you know, you can make it through. Because I still would say, like, it's almost a similar facet here for E7. They want to get to the late game. Clint can do quite a bit of damage, but he needs time. You know, he's got to get time to get to that high noon status. He's not just firing off early on, you know, and Carey does too, but the whole point of this is, again, Roger is across from you. So, you know, we saw a glimpse of Bane's damage in the previous game. Hopefully they can have even a better time because he lost a lot of his purple buffs. If you guys lost if you didn't see the breakdown there of buffs, they need to lock that down for him. So, we got the lineups here locked in for both teams, Homebois and E7. It's about same, but a little bit of diff. Let's head into this game number 2 and find out if Entity7 can bring this series in the best of 5 to a 1-for-1 as both teams get closer to locking things in for the group stage. And also looking at this, there's a whole lot of quantum charge for Entity7. Focusing mark, though, too, for Irwin. Look at this already, the pressure from Zorn. I don't think they're going to be able to catch him at all. Take a couple hits, going to be fine.
All right, Warcry, by the way, for Chibi. But this matchup in the gold lane should favor Fury by quite a bit. Marquinhos already with the rotation very early on as well. That would explain why he went for the lane cut very, very early. Udil, though, still with this Vixana. Chibi, and he brought back Irwin to be taken out now under the turret like it pounds. And Chibi, he even followed through under the turret. He gets out. Warcry plus, obviously, man, the Lycan Pounce interaction. Sometimes you follow, sometimes you just deal the damage.
Sometimes you just, somehow you follow him and you're still in the jungle, you know?
It works for them.
It works right there, and this is exactly what we were talking about in the draft, guys. You know, when you get this Roger locked in and somehow, some way you're able to get the lead, which most teams play around this. If you are going to draft a Roger, you look for that play potential early on, and that's exactly what Homebois did. Good response here from Hide on Bush.
Whoa. An interesting dive into the deadly catchy goes Zorn, though, provided the guiding wind as the turret fight connects onto the back line with the Curse Blast as well. Hide on Bush, unable to go for the kills, and Chibi, you can see him, he's smelling blood in the water, but Hide on Bush will be able to escape. Under the turret he goes. Suppot canceling the recall. Marquinhos with the onward. Now with the Earth Shatter connecting as well for the turret fight, and the Curse Blast gets rid of him. Rivera, he can even go for the trade. Chibi gonna be locked down. Lycan Pounce there together with Chan, picking up that damage and the kill. Now the turtle free for Hide on Bush. He doesn't have the retribution though, and Eternal Guard is already dealing damage. It's gonna be Chan who secures it as the real world revelation locks them down, and Chan secures the double kill. Zorn trying to run away, will be able to do so as he also used the Purify in that skirmish.
And that's what we're talking about from Chan. It locks in this Eve pick first phase and is going to be the start here. Yes, the huge impact, the difference of the impact here already in comparison to the Nana pick in game number 1. That's what Entity7 needs. So now that he has these 2 kills, he's going to be locking in that first item a lot sooner, and which will, again, they play around the real world manipulation. So able to punish Homebois. You know, Homebois going for that play, and they were off timing a little bit. They weren't able to get Chibi there when they tried to follow up through that setup. So it was unfortunate for them because then they just ended up overstaying on that side, taking a lot of damage. Entity7 punishes them and makes a great play. So they'll be able to keep things together. A good item already picked up here for Fury. Gets that Blade of Hepsises locked in. So the Clint, I think one thing you really need to pay attention to is where is that power spike for this lineup from Entity7. It's already showing that they have a lot of fighting potential early on. You know, and meanwhile too, Hide on Bush with the deadliest catch, all he has is a Fury Hammer. And he actually does provide quite a bit of damage if they're able to catch them in that real-world manipulation. And now he does lock in the Hunter Strike. So this is already good for Entity7, much better than the previous game. You know, gold-wise, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much balanced between both teams. But Entity7 is really able to keep these early skirmishes.
Okay. Curse the blood.
Good little fake out there. I feel like that was more of, could something happen here? If not, then they at least got the Curse of Blood out. They might still try to do the same thing on this side of the map.
Everything be slowed. Good deadly catch by Hide on Bush. They get 2 big resources. Like you said, man, I think Entity7 might have to give away this turtle.
Yeah, they might have to just go ahead and get that orange buff, but it looks like Homeboy's not going to actually fully start it up because they still need Chibi to get his purple. Eternal Guard will be dropped down, but they're just going to kind of deal with this zoning potential right now. Erwin doesn't have the Curse of Blood yet, neither does Hide on Bush have that deadliest catch. So they'll try to play around these timings, waiting for those cooldowns to come up.
Oh, Marquino with the Earth Shatter and the Flicker combo connecting on the Chibi with Onward, not connecting with the Primal Wrath, does enough damage with that, the catch as well. Chibi's like and pounce now caught in the real world manipulation as Hide on Bush gets rid of them. The Curse of Blood on the 2 right into the combo of Hide on Bush. Earth Shatter knocking Udil up, doing some damage. Chan with the Flicker forward, but Udil will respond to that with his own Flicker. Both teams now for Chibi, he was not able to get anything. It's going to be E7 straight into the tier 1 in the mid lane, taking it away. And this is a good lead for E7.
This is a great lead. I mean, they're up now 2,000 gold against Homeboys, really showing that they control this phase of the game. And meanwhile, this whole time, Fury, the gold lane experience, just chilling in that gold lane, farming up, getting everything that he needs, does get that turret down, now tier 1 down in the bottom side. So he's going to go ahead and get to rotate and continue to farm up here, because so far he doesn't need to be in these fights, man. Like he's doing his thing, his own time, and Entity7 is able to just again post up and fight it out. Look at the XP difference this time around, and this answers the question on why the Bane again in the first phase with that Edith. And there's your answer. Really being able to farm up this time around for Hide on Bush. Hasn't died yet. And really, when you look at it, one of the answers to deal with Roger here might be real-world manipulation. You trap him in, you lock him down. The Curse of Blood. There's a lot of these abilities that are working really well against how much mobility Roger has here. And now hopefully they can maintain that, but you see this too, the War Axe is going to be that first item locked in, so it looks like even for Chibi, you know, he wants to be a little bit more cautious and not just going all in on that first Skypiercer build path we sometimes see from the Rogers here in the jungle. So with that right now, Homeboy is going to find themselves working against a minor deficit. And Entity7, as they get ready for that 3rd turtle, they've already got 2 in their pocket. They can possibly just go ahead and lock all 3 in. And as you see them getting in position here, Turtle's now going to spawn up. Turtle Guard already going to be dropped down.
Marquino with the onward onto Sapon with Earth Shadow connecting as well. Sapon is unable to go for the escape. Chibi going to be locked down by the real world Malaysian as well. Chibi with like and power, but gets caught by the Primal Wrath of Marquino. 3 members of Homeboys taken down, and Entity7. They collapsed. They got the win. Homeboys can only go for a trade up top.
Entity7 right now is in full control of this portion of the game. Look at the damage on Zorn. You know, Fury, we were wondering, when would that damage start to show? When would that power spike come through? And I think it's already here, and that is going to make it even more difficult to move around with. That's the Ice Queen wand picked up by Chan. Great initiation that came out through here. Primal Wrath to pick up the kill from Sapat, and then they punish Chibi even further as he was just trying to get his orange buff. So it looks like Entity7, man, they really had this game plan to get revenge here. Marquino.
I'm offended into the knockup of the circling eagle into the damage, and Marquino still able to survive with the Primal Wrath, now dealing some damage. Back Nuts will be able to take the kill down. Now the flicker with the Curse of Blood connects on the 3 members, and they look at the deadly catch. Now with Fury, dealing the damage with the grenade bombardment. Entity7, they respond to that play, and they capitalize on it. It's only the XP traded in for 2 big members for the side of Homeboys. Chibi walking up again, hide on push. Oh, the bounce of the crab cannon. Did you see all those HP?
Those crabs hurt, man.
Yikes.
That crab cannon is loaded. Like you just saw, the combination that we were talking about even in the draft. Real world manipulation with the deadliest catch is able to just do so much damage. They even get to see Halbert to kind of work. Oh.
The stun down into the grenade bombardment. He can only go for Lycan Pounce, but then Chan and Fury continue the damage output to take him down under the turret. Jordan's looking for a trade with a circling eagle. Marquinhos pops in the primal wrath just in time, and he soaks in all that damage. No problem. Now the Sharks running them down. The crab cannon nets. Oh! The bounces. Fury takes a turret for free up top, buys the Sky Piercer as well. 9 minutes in, and this is an even bigger goal lead that Homeboys had in game 1.
Yeah, this is Entity7 from what we saw through their groups, going the distance, 3-0 in all their games, sweeping their group, going against the same for Homeboys as they swept their group. But man, it looks like just Entity7 very strong in this game number 2. Look at the damage. Look at the amount of damage that this pick, this Bane, is doing in the hands of Hide-On Bush. Dude. Yeah, it's this is big damn, man. Like, and he's not even fully locked in right now in terms of the items, and so it's really you're wondering, you know, what can Homeboys now do? They're finding themselves on the opposite end of things. That's already going to be the Lord Security here for Entity7. And Homeboys, they're going to have to get prepped up and ready. For Nets does pick up the DHS, an endless battle for Chibi now as well.
Wow.
Some of those items still paying, I mean, you could say they could pay value to this lineup for Homeboys, but right now, as you look at the disparity in terms of items, they're having a difficult time fighting. You almost have to rely on them to get the ultimates out from Entity7, especially the real-world manipulation, but it looks like they might just find themselves on this defense. The Lord making its way up top. Chan now also picks up the glowing wand, so that even helps further dealing with some of the possible shielding and sustainability from Homeboys, as that Sea Helper is already locked in too. There, they go in.
They're going in the flank. Meanwhile, Lycan Pounce on the back line. Chan's going to be shut down. GB in the midst of it all, going for the team fight now with another Lycan Pounce. The Earth Shadow will connect. The Primal Route will lock them down to get munched on by the Sharks of the deadly catch. Hide on Bush. Only now does he buy the Sky Piercer. I thought he already had it with how much damage he was doing. Now in the mid lane, base turret. That holy defense already getting procced down, as now it's going to be Fury with the grenade bombardment together with Hide on Bush, munching on the base turret HPs. With the first Lord, they're able to take all 3 up top of the Lord, down below with the Sharks coming down again onto the base. Udo trying to do some damage to the Curse Blast as well, but Erwin will just walking forward 11 minutes, Entity7.
They didn't even have a chance to defend. I mean, Hide on Bush was not hiding anywhere. He just goes in, knocks down the base, under the 12-minute mark. Entity7 came back in game 2 with a vengeance, man.
Wow. Sky Piercer. When he got the Sky Piercer, I was speechless because I thought he already had the Sky Piercer. How was he doing that much damage? This Bane. No wonder it's first pick. Right now you really see it. You really get to see it in Marquinhos this game on the Edith. We're sorry for doubting that Edith first pick. Though.
Yep, we're sorry for doubting these first 2 picks from Entity7. Well, this one worked well. You know what? I think the biggest change was just the Eve, man.
The Eve, and I would say giving away the Roger instead of the Claude, right? Because for the Roger, I guess for these initiations, you can't disengage instantly like the Claude, so you can't get locked down in the team fights.
Huge value. Yeah, they should be happy about that win, because man, did they come out, and now it's a 1-1 for the series. We're going to be taking a quick short break before we come back. Sit tight.